A 2 hours hike in the Amazon rainforest became a 6 days test of surviving and sanity. Dave Boyer and Crystal Ramsey had a frightening adventure that they will never forget that. Hiking along a path through the rainforest, Dave Boyer and Crystal Ramsey were enchanted. Bats hung upside down from branches and parrots screeched from the trees. Green frogs darted after spiders that looked like time monsters. The two American college seniors were staying at the Amazon Youth Hostel, a remote group of folding cabins at the head of Brazil's Rio Camarão Grande. They planned to return to the hostel well before sundown this Tuesday in late May, so Boyer carried just enough in his backpack to last for the day. He had 6 cereal bars, a little bit of water, a bottle of insect repellent, a knife, a camera, and a compass. They had been told that the trail marked by white arrow ended at a river, and that it would take them 2 hours to walk there. But they never came to anything they considered a river. The rainforest was full of woods. Perhaps they had walked right through the shallow part of the river and on into the jungle. Finally, around mid-afternoon, they decided to turn back. Behind them was a wall of green. The birds seemed to have closed over a path that could have been made by animals. They looked for their own footprints in the wet soil and for broken branches. They saw nothing, no familiar landmarks, not a single white arrow. Boyer figured they had taken off westerly course, so they headed southeast. But to walk a straight line through the trees was impossible. Ramsey shouted for help, only to be answered by calls from unseen birds. "We have to be realistic," he said. "We may have to spend the night out here." They made a place to sleep out of palm fronds. Everything changed with darkness. A cloud of red mosquitoes descended, stinging right through their shirts. They heard the sound of animals moving about. At first light on Wednesday, they walked east. They were confident they would be at the hostel for breakfast. At noon, there was still no river in sight, and their drinking water was gone. They were becoming dehydrated. They found a dry place on which to spend an hour or two. To protect against the mosquitoes, they covered their faces, hands and feet with mud. But once the mud dried on their skin, the insects got right through. Day 3, Thursday. They split a cereal bar and collected string water to drink. By heading southeast, Boyer felt sure they had come to a river that would lead them to civilization. They walked through a section of forest so dense they had to squeeze sideways between trees. Thorns cut into their legs and their hands. Black ants dropped off the trees and got inside their shirts. That night, they covered themselves with dirt. It did not stop the mosquitoes. Then it began to rain. Cold rain, and Ramsey began to shiver. Boyer held her close. She felt that her mind was falling apart. When the rain finally stopped in the morning, Boyer and Ramsey found a patch of sunlight to dry out in. Their bodies were covered with red welts. A noisy chatter started in the trees as they began to walk. Some 21 meters up, a colony of black and brown monkeys swung in the branches and watching them. Ramsey knew that monks lived in the most remote areas of the jungle. She and Boyer were more lost than ever. Saturday morning, day 5. They were sharing their last cereal bar when the sound of a boat engine sent them running. "We are saved," Boyer thought. They ran through the brush, chased the sound across a maze of white sand and then back into the jungle. But when they stopped to listen, all they heard was the cry of birds. No other sound. Their run had blown up blisters on Ramsey's feet. Now every step was painful. She tied vines around the lower part of her legs to cut circulation and ease the pain. Trying to walk, she fell. Boyer could see how tired Ramsey was. "Just make it to the end of the day," he said. Boyer tried to keep Ramsey moving when he too began to fail. Ramsey took the lead, climbing over falling trees by pulling her legs up with her hands. By late afternoon, they come out of the trees and onto a sandy area. This made Ramsay very happy. She flung off her boots and rolled in the sand. Under a starlit sky, the two fell asleep. They were on an incline above Samutia. In the morning, they climbed down from there and found that the Ucha became deeper and deeper. Was this the river? Just after 5 that afternoon, Ramsay shouted, "There is people." 2 men slowly paddled toward them in canoes. They took the 2 Americans aboard. At a village an hour and a half away, Yuma brought them bread rolls, fruit juices, and eye clothes. The woman cut fur from their flesh and treated their wounds. That night, Boyer and Ramsay slept soundly. Days later, they returned to the hostel, and they went hiking again, but with guides and always marking their trail.